Hello my friends, this is Alien Contactee Linol Anderson here with you guys with a brand new YouTube BitChute video. In today's video, I have the most mind-blowing information that is going to shock you. Okay my friends? I'm fairly confident by the end of this video, you will be convinced that Barron Trump is indeed the Antichrist. Okay? And not only that, we're also going to be speaking on some information to the destruction of New York City as well, and how that has to do with Barron Trump as well. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out and let me prove it to you, okay? So let's get into it. Just encourage you guys first to hit that subscribe button. As I say, subscribe to survive, click the notification bell, and smash the like button. All right, my friends? So what it comes down to is about 8 months ago, I figured out that Barron Trump was the Antichrist, and I made this video. I highly recommend you guys check that out once you're done this video. The link is down in the description. I'll leave it at the end of this video as well. But I get into some really interesting information about the day he was born, the meaning of his name and Donald Trump's name, and the connection to biblical prophecies, and the bloodline he belongs to, and much more very interesting information. But this video will just confirm everything. Okay, so I want to start off with saying the Antichrist, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, he's a time traveler, okay? And what it comes down to, my friends, is we are within a matrix simulation, okay? This reality is a matrix simulation created by the dark forces, by Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, okay? And it's the reptilians at the end of the day. That's my belief anyways, that we're in a Reptilian created a simulation here to harvest our low vibrational suffering energy. And within this simulation, there's cycles, you see? And there's resets, great matrix resets, as I call them, using the Nibiru event and the Phoenix, okay? And what it comes down to, at the end of every cycle, Lucifer, Antichrist, appears, okay, in physical form. He takes an avatar to usher in all these rituals, to usher in this reset and this big reptilian harvest, as I call it. So I believe the first one that I could trace back is down to the Sumerians, and I believe he was Enki in those stories. And if you keep going on, Egyptians, maybe he was Horus or something like that. I do know in Greek times he was Apollo, okay? And I think the most recent one was with the Bible there. Jesus, I know a lot of people freak out. Jesus, not the Antichrist. Well, I'm not talking about the actual man, Yeshua. I'm talking about the Catholic invented Jesus, which Jesus means Hail Zeus, right? I truly believe that, and that's a topic for another videos, but I'm just showing you how he's a new character at the end of every cycle, and it's spoken about in all the myths and the religious texts. He always appears in whatever the new world religion becomes. Well, I believe this time he is Barron Trump, and I'm going to show you right now. Remember, Antichrist is a time traveler. Well, what if I told you Barron Trump is a time traveler, and there's evidence? Check this out.
You heard the theory that the Trumps are time travelers?
Grab me a DeLorean.
This connects to Nikola Tesla.
No way.
Nikola Tesla died, and within his hotel that he had 80 plus trunks of all his patents, his designs for different technologies, all this stuff. Guess who they sent first to go and collect the stuff?
I don't know.
John G. Trump. Donald Trump's uncle.
What?
Weird.
So the theory is that he took some of these trunks.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But Tesla said that he had figured out how to bend time. So
As one does.
the theory is Donald Trump's uncle took this, created a time machine.
Oh my gosh.
And then the weird connection is there was a book that came out in 1896, and it's called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey.
You're saying
Do you know
it
what,
was actually
do you,
Barron
do you
Trump?
know what the book was about?
What?
Time travel?
Barron Trump time traveling.
No! Do you guys know of the Trump time travel theory?
No,
yet?
please tell me.
Okay. So Ingersoll Lockwood, in 1898, he published his first book, and that was called The Travels and Adventures of Little Barron Trump and His Wonderful Dog Bulger. He followed that one up.
Sorry, Bulgar.
Yeah.
Is that a common
There is a
dog name?
connection.
Come here, little Bulgar.
Come here, you little Bulgar, you bugger.
Yes. So technically, Trump did get a dog. He got it for Barron, and they named that dog Patton. I think it's like
I've
a
heard about
golden
that.
doodle. So Patton, actually, which is George S. Patton, he was an American military captain, and he was instrumental in the U.S.'s victory of the Battle of Bulg. Add an ER to Bulg, and that's Bulgar.
Right.
In 1893, he then released a book called Barron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. And then the last one he published was in 1896, and it was titled 1900 or The Last President. And eventually these books were found in the Library of Congress in the U.S. And that's when this whole time-traveling theory came to life.
Whoa, what's up with that, eh? A book from the 1800s, the underground adventures of little Barron Trump, and then you see the picture of Barron Trump from the 1800s looks like little Barron Trump now. Well, how did that happen, right? And you find out Tesla and all John Trump and all that very weird stuff. You cannot deny that, my friends. That's got to raise some eyebrows, right? I know it does with me, big time. So, now we'll get into the New York stuff, okay? So I want you guys to take a look at this video about the Statue of Liberty, okay? Take a look.
Let me start with a question. Has a hole in the ground ever been a memorial to anyone? Does that honor anyone in any way? What would be significant about a hole in the ground that would honor someone? I've got a thought. Revelation 9:11. They have his king over them, the angel of the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, but in Greek is called Apollyon. Apollo. The king of the bottomless pit. The angel of the bottomless pit. So you might honor a king of a pit, the hole, right? So how do we tie in Apollo, New York, and 9/11? Let's look. Statue of Liberty. Why, JT, that's a lady. No, it's not a lady. That's a man. I'm gonna show you that it's a man. Apollyon. Look familiar? Yeah. The sun god, Apollo. The illuminator. The light bearer, the light bringer. Does he got horns? Yeah, those look like horns, right? That's pretty significant, since Lucifer has all those same descriptions. Yeah, I wonder if there's a coincidence. There's no coincidences. Let's take another look at Apollo, or sometimes they would call him Helios. Check my boy out over here now. Leaving no doubt now. Looks a little different with the robe. This is Helios, the sun god in Greek, who was later replaced by, you know who, Apollo, Apollyon. Yeah, no doubt now, huh? And guess what? Apollo also had a sister. A twin sister, Artemis. So Apollo and twins. Huh. Twins. Interesting, only one of them has a spire on the top, huh? Male, female? Maybe. Now let's go back to that memorial. Oh, that's right. There's not one hole in the ground. There's two. Twin holes in the ground. So is that Artemis and Apollo? Or is that Apollyon and Abaddon? Does it matter? It does. What I think matters is Revelation 9:11 and who Apollyon becomes. He becomes the Antichrist. And with all the New World Order talk associated with this day, what I find significant is we're almost here and the pit is open.
Whoa, what's up with that, eh, my friends? There you have it. The Statue of Liberty is actually Apollo. And remember, I told you Apollo was the Antichrist in the Greek pantheon, right? And also the Roman pantheon as well, which is interesting because he talks about the twins and everything. how Artemis and Apollo are twins. Well, in the Roman mythology, Apollo was in that as well, and his twin sister was Diana. And when I was in at the Vatican a couple years ago, I took this picture with the goddess Diana in the Vatican Museum. There you go, Statue of Liberty, whole 9 yards. Well, my friends, one thing you got to know about Apollo is in every, or the Antichrist, whatever, in every incarnation, it appears like they have a similar face, okay? Because if they're a time traveler, it seems like they usually take on a similar appearance in every incarnation. Well, my friends, take a look at Barron Trump and the Statue of Liberty and Apollo. Take a look. Oh, would you just look at that, eh? I don't know, but if you ask me, I'd say Barron Trump looks a lot like the Statue of Liberty, a lot like Apollo. Same face, same facial structure. Wouldn't you say, my friends? A little bit eerie. Statue of Liberty is in New York City, which we now know is Lucifer, light bearer, right? Lucifer means the light bearer. Statue of Liberty's got that flame, the torch, right? I think that, to me, it's saying the Antichrist will rise in New York City. Where was Barron Trump born? New York City in Manhattan. That's right, he was born there. Another thing I found interesting, you see at the beginning of that video I showed you guys, they're talking about ground zero, right? Ground zero. And it's like a hole in the ground for the memorial. Well, remember the first video we watched? That book from 1896, Barron Trump's underground adventures. Underground. Very interesting, right? And we know the reptilians are underneath the ground, right? Maybe that's where they've been hiding out this whole time. So it's symbolic, of course. It's symbolic. Maybe the whole Twin Towers thing. Well, not maybe. We know that was a ritual on 9/11. And it was all ritual symbolizing the return of Apollo. That's right, my friends. The return of Apollo. So I believe that's exactly what's happening, my friends. And of course, I believe this Antichrist, this reptilian entity, he works through possession, okay? We know reptilians could possess human avatars. So as of right now, do I believe that Barron Trump has this reptilian possession right now? I'm not sure if his vessel right now is possessed by the Antichrist. Maybe that ritual still has to take place, but I definitely do think they're going to be using Barron Trump as that vessel. Now we want to get into the destruction of New York City and how it's all connected to the Antichrist and all that, okay? And I got some crazy information to get to there. But before we do, I just want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors, OWELI's turmeric. Okay, my friends, this is the best turmeric around. I take it every day. All right, it's got curcumin, the active ingredient, the curcumin. Okay, 95% extract. Okay, if you're just eating regular turmeric, it's only 3 to 4% curcumin that you're getting. This is 95%. Other supplements, you'll get like 30, 40%. This is the strongest stuff on the market. This is good for detox. It's good for inflammation. It's good for decalcifying the pineal gland. So many fantastic uses. Non-GMO, all organic. Check it out. Link is in the description, my friends. I just had to do that plug. Of course, speak to your medical professional and whatnot. But definitely check it out. I use it every day. I'm the best health ever. Okay, now let's get to the destruction of New York. Well, my friends, New York is actually spoken about a lot. in movies, a lot of predictive programming that they're going to destroy New York. Okay, take a look.
Shimmering skyline of New York City, with its iconic skyscrapers and landmarks, has been a favorite backdrop for filmmakers over the years. But there's a curious twist. Rather than showcasing its splendor, many films opt to unleash disaster upon it. From monstrous kaiju to alien invasions, NYC has faced cinematic destruction more times than any other city on the planet. It's almost as if the city's grandeur is only matched by its cinematic vulnerability. Every time it gets rebuilt on the silver screen, another director is ready to tear it down again. Such is the dramatic allure of the Big Apple in the world of cinema.
There you have it, my friends. So it's the #1 most used city of all time to be destroyed or have something cataclysmic happen. Why? It's called predictive programming. They're telling you what they're going to do before they do it. And wouldn't it make sense, my friends? Wouldn't it make sense if it gets destroyed by maybe the rise of the Antichrist eventually, right? And it's interesting because Apollo, you know, Statue of Liberty, Apollo was known as the Destroyer. That's right, the Destroyer. Okay, so here we got the Statue of Liberty hovering over top of New York City, aka Apollo, aka the Destroyer, and you got all this predictive programming about New York being destroyed. And then, you know, you gotta look at the origins of the name New York. What's York? New York, you know what I mean? So I looked into it because, you know, history repeats itself. That's the nature of this matrix simulation that we're in, the Great Matrix Reset. So I looked into the origin of the name York, and turns out York was the name of a city in Rome back when the Roman Empire was running. See? There you have it, my friends. And what happened to York? I wanted to know what York. So that was Old York, you could say. Old York. This is New York. That's why they named it New York. It's the New York because that was the old one. What happened to the Old York? Well, my friends, it got. But by the end of the fall of the Roman Empire, according to what I've read, it was uninhabitable. Okay. It flooded. It flooded, water everywhere. You couldn't live there. Flooded. Well, a lot of these movies, we see stuff about, you know, tsunamis hitting New York and a water event because it's right on the water there, right? And not only that, did you know that New York is sinking? Take a look at this.
New York City is going down. According to recent research, New York City is sinking at a rate of 1 to 2 millimeters per year. This sinking is attributed, in part, to the massive weight of the city's skyscrapers and densely clustered buildings, which collectively weigh around 1.7 trillion tons. Interestingly, many of these buildings are currently vacant due to the increase in remote work, resulting in a record office vacancy rate of 22.7%. The sinking of New York City has serious implications for the coastal metropolis, as 4 of its 5 boroughs are located on islands. As sea levels continue to rise, certain neighborhoods are at an increased risk of flooding. The city has already experienced significant flooding and damage from 2 major hurricanes since 2012, costing billions of dollars in repairs.
There you go. They're saying since of all the heavy skyscrapers and whatnot, as it continues all that weight, it's going to continue to sink and cause flooding. Already having lots of flooding. Kind of, like I said, history repeats itself. And it's interesting because in the original York, they have ruins there now. Lots of ruins. Okay? Which means something devastating happened there. History's a lie. We don't know all the details and all the exact records of what actually happened. But at the fall of the Roman Empire, something happened and it destroyed the place. And now you got ruins everywhere. Okay? Looks like history is repeating itself. Okay, so it appears to me that with this rise of Apollo, the end of the cycle, we're going to be seeing the destruction of New York because we see all the predictive programming. And I also want to read you guys a Bible scripture as well. I'm not a Christian or anything like that, but I do believe in this great matrix reset, and I do believe, you know, the Bible, book of predictive programming of what's going to happen in our future, and you gotta know what's happening. So that's why I researched it, and that's why I'm using this as a reference. But Revelations chapter 16, verses 18 and 19, it speaks about, I'll read it to you. It says, "And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath." Okay, his wrath. Who's he? Apollo, Lucifer, Antichrist. I know they want you to think Jesus, but like I told you guys, they're the same being. But interesting, the great city. Okay, could they be talking about New York? An earthquake, usually that would create a tsunami, right? And we see all the predictive programming in the movies with the tsunamis hitting New York. And yes, I know what Babylon is America. That's the new Babylon, right? So they're pretty much saying that a great city is going to be divided into 3 parts, which I believe is going to be New York. And then the nation falls, the fall of the American Empire. And it's all connected there, my friends. And then his wrath, okay? That's Apollo that we're talking about. Enki, whatever. Okay? I think it's very clear. And one other interesting thing as well. What do they call New York? They call it the Big Apple, right? Why do they call it the Big Apple? Oh, I looked it up and I read the official explanation. Oh, you got all these possibilities in New York and all, you know, the American dream. But I don't buy it, my friends. Do you remember the Adam and Eve story? Apparently, you know, what did they take a bite of? Well, it says fruit, but it's always symbolized with an apple. That's why on Apple phones, you got the half-bitten apple, right? The Big Apple. Well, the apple is what Lucifer, the Antichrist, used to deceive Eve, right? So they're calling New York the Big Apple, home of the Antichrist. I think it's all connected, my friends. So that is what I came to my conclusions on what's going on here. And I want to hear from you guys what you think. Do you think I'm on to something? Please leave a comment down below. Like I said, I'm going to end today's video with another video for you guys, going further into the Statue of Liberty, talking about how it was created by the Freemasons, and it actually goes all the way back to ISIS, believe it or not. Okay, my friends? Egyptian times. So you can see stuff like that. And before I show you that clip, I want to show you one other clip, something interesting about Barron. Let's talk a little bit more about Barron. He's a very odd boy, interesting, you could say. Just the way he's portrayed, you know, very protective. Melania, Mother Melania, right? The Virgin Mother, right? There's always going to be that Trinity story, and it's interesting because Barron was Melania's first child, so in a symbolic way, you could say she was Mother Melania. But she was always so protective of Barron, and there's so much mystery around him, you know, this 6'8" giant kid, and nobody's ever heard him speak or nothing. That's how protective she's been, and, you know, yeah, just so much mystery around this boy. But, you know, I've been researching a lot, and I found some interesting things about him and his person. I found this interview with Mike Tyson, and I guess he was hanging out with Barron. Let's hear what he has to say. Take a look.
We were at the UFC fight in Miami, and you walked up with Trump, and that place lost their mind when you guys walk? I don't know if you...
People don't like it, but Trump is the man. Trump is the man. He has this fan base. He has his supporters, and they're going to stick with him to the end.
How has he been to you over the years?
I never had a bad moment with him.
You've never had a bad moment?
No.
Did you...
Became very profited from him. Yes, it was just a great relationship.
When did you guys...
I just had dinner with him a week ago.
In Mar-a-Lago? Where were you?
In Mar-a-Lago.
How was that?
That was awesome. Me, him, Barron, and his mother, and it was just off the hook. Barron, he's so smart. The young kid. Barron
is smart.
Oh, Barron.
You knew that?
7 feet tall now or
no,
not yet?
6'8".
He's 6'8".
But you knew he was very intelligent?
I've heard a lot of weird stories about him.
This guy's on top of his game intellectually.
At 16 years old.
17.
17 now. Got it.
Was Melania there at dinner?
Yeah, she was there as well.
How was your interaction with her? What's
awesome.
she like?
Awesome. It's like the president's wife, the first lady.
I just thought it was interesting. You know, my friends, he says that he's extremely intelligent. Yeah. Like he couldn't get over it. And then the other guy who was interviewing Mike Tyson says, yeah, I've heard some weird stories about Barron. Weird stories? What's weird? He doesn't elaborate on it, but I don't know. It just raises suspicions with me, my friends. It just raises suspicions with me that there's something off about this boy. It's just, you can't just say, oh, he's just some normal kid. No, this kid is going to play a big role in the coming years, and we got to keep our eyes on him for sure. Okay, my friends? So stay tuned. I got a video in the works that's going to be talking about how all this is going to lead up. You might be saying, how is this going to happen? How is Barron going to make an appearance on the world stage? What's going to happen with Donald Trump? Well, I don't know if it's my next video, but within the next couple weeks, I got a video laying out everything that's going to happen in the next year or so with Donald Trump, the return of Donald Trump, the Q stuff. I'm not a Q guy, but I'm going to expose Q in this video and show how it is all going to happen, like what the Q people say, but it's not because it's for the benefit of humanity. It's actually going to be part of this end time prophetic stuff. And it's going to be the downfall of our world. So just bear with me. I know a lot of people still support Trump and Q and all that, but I got a lot of good evidence to provide you guys, undeniable evidence there as well. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you that last video, but just so you guys know, I'm on Patreon. Link is down below, so if you want to support my work there, feel free to do so. If you want to simply buy me a coffee, any support means the world to me. All the links are down below, OWELI. And yeah, I'll leave you guys with that last video on the Statue of Liberty. And yeah, please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Love you guys. Lionel, signing off.
The angle that this large-scale alignment takes through Central Park matches the interlocking Pythagorean triangle's hypotenuses. 4 such triangles match Central Park's proportions of 5 to 24 precisely. I then wondered, what is this unusual aqueduct doing just under the surface of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir? It seems to mirror the triangle's hypotenuse angle. That's certainly odd, but in my research I've learned to follow so-called coincidences wherever they lead. The aqueduct leads us to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Getting closer still, we see this variation of the Templar flag in the atrium of the Robert Lehman collection. Incidentally, Albrecht Dürer's esoteric masterpiece, Melancholia I, is in this collection, and we'll study it in Egypt. In case you're thinking I'm imagining connections where none exist, right outside this room is one of the oldest artifacts in North America, a 3,500-year-old Egyptian obelisk from Heliopolis. Note the octagon surrounding yet another solar symbol. There are only a handful of ancient Egyptian obelisks left in the world, even counting those still in Egypt. So when I see one, I sit up and take notice. This obelisk is the twin of Cleopatra's Needle in London. Egyptian temples typically had paired obelisks at their entrances, so the obelisks now in New York and London used to together frame the entrance to a temple in Heliopolis. It was quite a difficult and expensive project in the 19th century, and even today, to transport a 224-ton slab of granite halfway across the planet. Connecting nations with ancient Egypt was apparently a very powerful motivator to the Freemasons who bothered moving these obelisks. Overlaying the floor plan, we see what the aqueduct is pointing to. literally an ancient Egyptian temple within the Sackler wing of the Met. The Temple of Dendur had to be removed from its original site in order to save it from being submerged by the construction of the Aswan High Dam. In 1965, the government of Egypt presented the temple as a gift to the United States, which was ceremonially represented by Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. That's quite a coincidence, considering the aqueduct in Jackie's reservoir led us to the very temple she received. Was the former First Lady playing the role of Isis? While we're in New York, let's take a look at one of the most famous tourist spots and greatest symbols of America, and visit the Statue of Liberty. The authors Graham Hancock and Robert Bivall have researched the Statue of Liberty, and you might be surprised what they have found. French sculptor and well-known Freemason Bartholdi designed the colossal statue originally for the opening of the Suez Canal in 1867. Fellow Freemason Gustave Eiffel, who was later made famous for his Parisian Tower, was commissioned as the statue's engineer. It is said Bartholdi modeled the sculpture after the Roman goddess Libertas. The truth is, Libertas was an echo of the Egyptian goddess Isis. After Bartholdi's Colossus was rejected for the Suez Canal due to financial reasons, he repurposed it as the Statue of Liberty for New York Harbor. It comes as no surprise that the cornerstone for the Statue of Liberty was laid in a Masonic ceremony. Researcher Jim Allison has connected the dots and identified the triangle between Giza, Pharos, and the opening of the Suez Canal. The angle of this triangle matches the slope of the Great Pyramid and looks like the Greek letter delta, which beautifully echoes the Nile Delta. The Colossus of Rhodes was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The giant statue that stood on the island of Rhodes depicted Apollo, god of the sun, who also wore a crown of 7 rays. 7 rays is very interesting in light of the culmination of the initiation ceremony into the cult of Isis. According to 19th century author Edward Schur, after a successful initiate survived all the harrowing tests and triumphed over death by fire, water, and temptation of the senses, he was led into an inner sanctum, where he looked upon a colossal metal statue of Isis, crowned with a diadem of 7 rays. I believe 7 is Isis's secret number. Isis's son Horus was god of the sun, just as Apollo depicted in the Colossus of Rhodes was god of the sun to the Greeks. You'll see that the Statue of Liberty's base star is quite odd, having 11 points. I think this was done to make the number symbolism in the Statue of Liberty fit an important Egyptian structure, the Great Pyramid of Giza, whose height to base proportion is 7:11, like the famous convenience store's name. And if you didn't get 11 from the base star, the height of the statue from heel to top of head is 111 feet, 1 inch. So it all fits now. You see how the Statue of Liberty secretly depicts the Egyptian goddess Isis.